Hello, my name is Healey, and today I'm going to be showing you my original story idea and talking you through the pitch. It's called The Warmington Poet. So here's a plot summary of The Warmington Poet. Arabelle is a writer in a small local newsletter called The Warmington Print. She interviews people who are famous in the town, for instance, the lighthouse keeper, the mayor, etc., and writes about them. So to clarify for that, she interviews people who are like subtly famous in the town, so they're not really actual famous people. They're just known around the town, and that's what she writes about. She finds a love poem hung in the town hall about a woman who lived in the town. The writer is Vincent von Varoon. Arabelle leaves town and asks who was the woman. He avoids the question and walks through a mysterious door in his home. Arabelle chases him and they enter the underside of Warmington. Vincent reveals he has a memory loss issue and doesn't remember the underside, despite visiting hundreds of times when younger. Vincent wants to look for another poem that he lost in the underside years ago. He wrote it the day the woman in the first poem died. Along the way, Arabelle finds out more about him for her newsletter as he finds out more about his wife's mysterious death and the things he forgot years before. So, I'll break down the plot just a little bit more and more detail. So, after she finds a poem hung in the town hall, a love letter to a woman, she decides to visit the writer, who is Vincent von Varoon. He lives outside the town, and on the right-hand side of the screen, there are three different pictures. The top picture is from a screenshot from Wolf Walkers, which is the color palette and the sort of tone I like to set in the town of Warmington at the beginning. Because despite the town being called Warmington, the people there are very cold to Arabelle. And then the middle one is where Vincent von Varoon lives. It's a concept art from Brave, and it's a rotation of a lot of greenery, very bright colors, daytime, a lot of earthy natures, because this is set in the countryside in England. So a lot of this place, the first one will be very rustic and very yeah, very industrial on the borderline of, and in the middle very green, naturey, and then the bottom side is the underside of Warmington, which I've used a Fantastic Mr. Fox concept art. And this sort of plot of the story similarly follows Alice in Alice in Wonderland, where she finds a world she's unfamiliar with, and yet she has a mission to find this last letter so she can help the man so he can help her. So Vince Wolverine wants his letter, Arabelle wants her coverage, and when they're finding more about this place, they discover a few different things. It's very inspired by Over the Garden Wall, where they end up introducing characters, different plot lines, and things like that. And because throughout the story, there'll be so many different things they find on their journey that stop them and push them forward and seem good. For instance, the ruler of um, the underside is Vincent von Varoon's wife, who he wrote about in the letter. It's her brother, and he finds out more things about her mysterious death because there's a few things there which you find out with Vincent's wife's brother not wanting her to leave with Vincent, and a few example of things like that. So this is the plot summary. I go on to here. So this is a character sheet for Arabelle. Arabelle, she is 13 to 14 years old. She article writer and famous people from Warmington. Her behavior is joyful, friendly, rebellious, adventurous, and creative. She's interested in writing and exploring nature. So here's a board of different people I've used that she's inspired by. At the top, we see Dorothy from Wizard of Oz and Alice from Alice in Wonderland, which are both very comparable to her because of the story-wise, where she's exploring this world she's unfamiliar with. She's transported to this new place and she must quickly become adapted and used to it. The other characters are Coraline, Kiki from Kiki Delivery Service, we have Riley from Inside Out, I think her name is Gio from Luca. I'm unfamiliar with the girl on the right's name, but she is from Jojo Rabbit, and also Earwig from Earwig and the Witch. So all them sort of characters, and especially Kiki, Coraline, and and Earwig are very rebellious. They're very against being told what to do, and they want to adventure out and do their own thing pretty much. Riley, the girl from Luca and the girl from Jojo Rabbit, are a lot more the grounded side of Arabelle, where she's more creative and she's more friendly to the people. And on the bottom right hand side, bottom left, sorry, the bottom left side, I put three pictures here of different outfits. So these outfits were inspiring a character design when I was going through it, because I knew I wanted this sort of over the garden wall, rustic, brown, autumnal kind of feeling to it. So these are the kind of things that I saw. And then these were her first designs that I drew. I drew many different designs, deciding what I wanted to look like, if I wanted the head to be big, small, sort of turnaround thing. I wanted to give her a camera as well in the early stages. That is still a thing that is in talks. I'm not sure whether I would put a camera or not. But her outfit colors were ultimately decided with the bottom left one, where I've done a small little turnaround where she's wearing an orange overalls, yellow sleeves, and a big orange bow in her hair. So I think top left with the silhouette next to it is probably my final design for now. I do like other designs on this page, as the one in the middle with the blue jeans and yellow rain boots, and the one next to that is a bit more inspired by Roald Dahl's illustrations, and her silhouette on the far left is just me sort of exploring. Would you be able to identify Arabelle purely on her silhouette alone without seeing anything else? Because all iconic characters like SpongeBob and Homer Simpson and Tom and Jerry, all them sort of ones, they can be identified purely by this silhouette alone because they're so iconic by their shape language. So this is her shapes where her head is very round, she's very skinny, her legs are basically just twigs. And the things I identify about her is her hair shape, the snips in between, and her boots. So top left is my final design, but this is an explanation of it. But I did take one design and I just wanted to play with it since I hadn't used clay before. So I took this design, the bottom right, and I just tried to make it out of clay to see if it's physically possible if I could. And it turned out quite well, I think. I think it captured a character nicely. The only thing I'd say is though, is this character looks more for children's TV, very, very young children's TV, like Dora the Explorer kind of, and it's not the sort of tone I wanted to go for, target audience I had. So this is just purely just a test for clay to see if I enjoyed doing it in clay, which I did, and I think in my blog you'll see it a lot more often. Now on to Vincent. Vincent, I knew from the start what I wanted Vincent to ultimately mainly look like. So Vincent from Maroon, around 70 years old, he used to be a poet and lived in Warmington. His behavior is eccentric, colorful, smart. He's interested in poetry, plant keeping, pardon me, going on adventures. His favorite things are poetry, feeding birds, and whittling. So when she goes into his house, similar to Inbrave with the old lady, she will see tons of different wood carvings all around her, and all these plants and all this life growing around her. The people that inspire Vincent are Willy Wonka, the Gene Wilder version, the Mad Hatter, and the bottom one are the two characters from the Grand Budapest Hotel. Now, Ralph Fiennes' character on the left is way more inspiring for him, for Vincent, with the personality, him quipping all the time, being sort of aware of his situation. And bottom right, Jeff Goldblum's look is way more for the style I wanted to like, the way he wants to look, especially in this far left design, the silhouette below him. That far left design, I think, is my favorite one, and that is way more inspired by Jeff Goldblum's look. But yeah, this is just sort of explanation for mustaches, the tallness because I want to be very skinny. Do I want to be wide at the top or very skinny at the top? Which hand would he have the cane into? Glasses, how tall the top hat be, and also his color scheme. So Vincent is very, sorry, Arabelle is very yellows and oranges. He is very browns and greens, two different sides of autumnal colors. And then this is the color script. I didn't make this. This is from Up, from Pixar's Up. Um, this is a perfect, in my opinion, this is the perfect color script to use because it goes through black and white into saturated colors, desaturated, and back into saturated again with all different styles. There's greens, blues, oranges, black and white, everything I can use. So I use this as an example for what the colors I wanted for each scene. So Warmington, the town at the beginning, which is very cold to Arabelle, is a lot more dull. It's a lot more browns, these dark colours. At the top here in Carl's one, we can see it's during his sort of depressed the 2 minute intro. And bottom left picture is also from Wolf Walkers. It's Wolf Walkers concept art for the backgrounds. This kind of feeling I wanted of like everyone there is very, very uninterested in Arabelle's creativity. The next town is Vincent's home outside of Warmington. Now, I've done a sketch in the top left of Arabelle outside. I've used a color script at the top of Carl exploring the forest with Russell, and at the bottom there are three different concept art full of this sort of hidden away home in the forest, these lakes, and this lovely green and very, very nice, yeah, greens and nature around this little town. Again, this is set in the countryside in England, so this would be very, very realistic too for the countryside and the underside of Warmington. Now, this underside sort of story has been done plenty of times with, like I said, Alice in Wonderland, sorry, pardon me, Wizard of Oz, and like things like Stranger Things has the upside down, things like that. Now, the underside is very inspired by Over the Garden Wall. In fact, the middle concept art, the sketches of the house, the bottom one with the pumpkin patch, and the bottom right one with the two boys, that is Over the Garden Wall concept art that I have used on my mood board. Far left is an illustration from Alice in Wonderland from the book. And the book's not always browns and greens, but I found this drawing. I thought it was very, very, very good and would inspire me a lot. And it's different tale. And down there is Phantom Mr. Fox. Sorry about that. Which is very orange. And I've used a script from the ending of Up, where the sun's setting, everything's orangey and things like that. And I hope you enjoyed. So these are my two characters, Arabelle and Vincent. Um, there are her colors, there's his colors, and they're two different shape language. They're very, very good with one being little small and round, one being tall and skinny. And yep, if you enjoyed this project, please do be on the lookout on my blog around this video that I'll be uploading more and more things like the scripts. I'll be uploading storyboards, more of the things of the characters. So if you'd like to see some of the story scenes in there, perhaps one more action and dramatic scenes, please stay in touch and keep looking at my portfolio. And soon they'll be up there, my storyboards for this plot. So I hope you enjoy.